And amazing royals of Africa. Mbolwani, my dear royals, this is your queen, Queen Ngningone II, 17th generation crown queen of the Fang people and of the Diasporan Africans, also known as the Immortals. Welcome, welcome. If you are new to my channel, if this is the first time you stop by, welcome. I'm your host, Queen Ngningone II. Welcome to NUBIA. If you like my vibe, stick around because you will learn something. Now to my returning and amazing, beautiful African royals, welcome back. First of all, thank you for liking my messages, for sharing them, and for spreading the light, spreading the love, spreading the knowledge, because this is what NUBIA, the path to return, is about, okay? Thank you for your shares, your donation, my children. Thank you. They do help, all right? They do help with NUBIA bills. So be multiplied, be blessed. You bless my work, so shall yours be blessed. Okay, my children? Now today I have a particular message for our sons. I am moved to address our sons today. My ancestor gave me permission to share a story that my grandfather taught us when we were little. A story that didn't make sense to me until I came of age, until they crowned me. My grandfather always told us about the story of Yakuku and Edumdum when we were little. When we would go to the village, my grandfather would tell us the story of these two brothers. Edumdum was boastful, he was very arrogant. Edumdum was very adventurous. Edumdum was the kind of child who would leave the house and show up 2 or 3 days later and tell his parents, I was just having a good time with friends. Edumdum was like the wild animal that nobody could really control. He was just like that, the kind of kid, in short, that would give a headache to his parents. And then Edumdum had a brother who was younger than him, whose name was Yakuku. Now Yakuku was this child, very attentive and just a good kid who would not give trouble to his parents. And then Edumdum and Yakuku grew, but there was always that rivalry. Edumdum was bigger in height and was always kind of being that bully toward his brother. And Yakuku was his mother's child, always, close to the mother and close to the father, very obedient and so on. So when the father came to go and be with the ancestors, the father called both of them, and the father called Yakuku, the youngest, and sat him on his lap and put his hand on his head, and he told him that from you will come a great nation. You will be blessed for far beyond the imagination, and so on. When it was now the turn of the Edumdum, the older brother, the father told him, listen, there's only a set of blessings that I could give, and I've given them to your brother, your younger brother, Yakuku, because the God of our ancestors told me to do so, that he was the one to continue his lineage on earth. And ever since, Edumdum cursed his father's and cursed his brother's lineage and has sworn to come and take everything from Yakuku. And then my grandfather told us about what had happened is that as Edumdum predicted, Edumdum came with friends from other nations to come and circle the village of Yakuku and murdered Yakuku and took his children and his wives as slaves. So it was a very terrifying story my grandfather used to tell us when we were young. And each time I had the opportunity, I used to ask my grandfather, does the story stop where Edumdum stays with the belongings of Yakuku, or the story continue at some point? So now I was already an adult. The last time I saw my grandfather, and then I told him, Papa, how does the story end? Does Yakuku ended up taking his possession back? And my grandfather, he was already old and really tired. Last time I saw him, he told me, yes, Mama, the story ends with the children of Yakuku coming to find out who they were, rose up and stood as one for the first time in their history and took everything back from Edundum. And then I asked my grandfather, how did Edundum ended? My grandfather said that Edundum people ended up disappearing from the world. They were nowhere around the corner of the earth you could find any of them. So this is how my grandfather concluded it. So it took me to get crowned to understand that the story my grandfather was telling us was the story of our people, because we the Fang people, we are descendant of Yakuku, who we know as Yakuba, okay? And the message today really is for our sons. I know why the ancestors are prompting me to talk on this today, but many of you need to hear that. I'm sure that many of you, when you found yourself around Edundum's sons, there's that power. You feel that they're fighting you over something you don't know nothing about. You feel that the way they come at you, the way they try to press you down, there's gotta be more than the story they just told you that your own king sold you, your own kings who already had everything, sold you to a bunch of starved Europeans who were suffering famine and everything in Europe. So at some point it comes to your spirit and say, wait, the way these people come at us, there's gotta be more. Okay, my dear sons and daughters, this is the reason why. The history of our people, you have to understand us and who we are. In every big family, there's a power. I know some of our kids one day, she probably heard me mention power. She goes and make a video. Oh, African don't have power. I'm a queen, so when I talk, whatever I talk about has to do with the spiritual aspect of us. We wouldn't go through what we're going through if we were powerless people. We are born with power, divine power. God's magic with the group of people, He gave knowledge, He gave access to it, right? So in most big families, every big family, you will see this big corporation, you will see DuPont, name them. It's usually a family. So it was like that back in the days. Every big family, they have some kind of power that is believed that if passed down generation after generation, that family will prosper in wealth, in number, and so on. These are the original elite family. The original elite family were these royal families in Africa, the families Tata Nzambe chose and went into covenant with. So they always came packing. So you have to understand that in this royal family, there's war for that power. We've had a system, unlike the European system, which says that it's based on the purity of one's heart. So when Tata Nzambe look among your children, he chooses which one gonna be crowned after you. You don't choose. The man, the crown king or queen is completely out of that. He doesn't have power over choosing a whole king, no. Tata Nzambe and the ancestor tell him or her, we have chosen that one. And it be usually the kind of thing you observe the kid compared to the other one, you will see why and you would understand why that one would be the chosen one. This is how it works. It has never been based on you being born the first. It goes to you. No. Per us African, we understand that the first has the spiritual secret of that generation. So the first are usually the strongest. The first are usually the best of the best, but it's not always the case. That's why in our system, the king, the one they give the power to of the family, always goes to Nzambe, because Nzambe and the deserving ancestor, they can see the heart. People can pretend to be the opposite of who they truly are. We all know that. Some people can even live a lifetime of pretending. We know that for that reason in our system, it's Tata Nzambe and the deserving ancestor who choose. They just tell you it's such and such kid, and you will start seeing the reason why. So with that in mind, I want you, our dear son, to know that the story in the Bible where they said that Esau sold his birthright to Jacob. It's a complete lie. The story about Jacob basically put something with hair on to pass for the brother Esau. It's another lie. These stories were put in there so that you will feel guilty to carry what you have. Our ancestor was the chosen one. It was never them. It took for me to be crown queen to understand how our system works. And we have a biblical example on how the system works is in the Bible. When Yakuba was about to die, what did he say? We all know that Reuben is his firstborn. The firstborn of a king is Reuben. How come he didn't choose Reuben? He chose who to be the king among the kings of Israel. He chose Yehuda, who we also know as Judah. So he chose Yehuda, and Yehuda was the fourth son. So this is to show you that consume the Bible with moderation. So they want to justify the perpetual hatred, war they unleash on us based on that the children of Yakuba, they have something that rightfully belongs to them. I know for those of our children who know the word, if you read the words of the story they put in there, they're basically letting you know you don't deserve your inheritance because your ancestor acquired it through trickery. So you have that stamp in your mind and soul. You need to erase it and throw it away. Yakuba, he had 12 sons, and who got the scepter, the everlasting scepter, is Yehuda, who was number 4. Why? Because Tatan Zambe told him that this one is the one who's going to be equipped to do that. We never had a system that says that automatically is the firstborn. I am the 5th born of 9, and yet I was chosen. Our power is not passed just because somebody is the firstborn. So if you wonder why they come at you the way they come at you, it's deep rooted in that. And once you understand that, for those of you who don't know, because we Africans know that where there's power, there's war. Until today, our royal families, until today, there's war. My ancestors are giving me permission to share this, but after my mom passed, they haven't even crowned me. Some of her siblings who suspected that I could be her heiress, all of the sudden showed interest to coming to America to visit me. Until one came and visited me. I even paid for her ticket just for her to come and tell me your mother had something which did not belong to her. So I'm telling you this because we're fighting a spiritual warfare. And just like, though I was very green, but I'm telling you, my late queen herself took care of it. I stood my ground. I didn't even know what she was talking about, but I just stood up to her and told her, my mother didn't owe you anything. Whatever grandfather gave to her is for hers and her house to keep. Spiritually, I was blocking her, So I'm sharing this so he could do it for some of you when you confront them, when you feel that they are unnecessarily pushing you, as if they feel that you owe them something, as if they feel that what is that desire of possessing you, making you a thing under their control. This is where it all lays. Okay, my children, there's no such war you will encounter compared to the kind of war you have to fight when there's a group of people who come after you because of what you carry. And you in the diaspora being the direct descendant of those kings. My children, that's why you get the worst, okay? They see your forefathers through you. They knew your forefathers will rise through you. So they do every and anything to contain you. They have been unsuccessful in stopping your growth. Now they're finding ways to make sure that even if you rise to the top, you're gonna be completely useless to your father's house. That's what is happening. They are throwing homosexuality among our sons. They are throwing white women on their bed. Some of them, they come publicly and say that's all they like. You have been bought out. You have been conquered. For our people say, when you sleep with a man, daughter, or wife, you are under that man's control. Spiritually, that's why I had the previous video talking about the importance, the spiritual role of a woman when it comes to her people. She's pivotal. She's the foundation. She's the pillar. Spiritually, once they conquered her, they have conquered that group of people. It's through the a woman, they do that. If you feel that why is them, they just don't get a satisfaction of keeping us down. No, they have to crush us while down. Why is that vicious, disease coming from? Is that when you're dealing, I can tell you because that's my reality since my crowning. People who contested my mom's crowning, they feel the power should go to them. Yeah, they come at you with funny stuff. So you are in a disadvantage because you're fighting battles you don't know nothing about. So that's where a queen is needed. That's where I come in and tell you. See them of being obsessed with destroying you. That's the reason why they feel that our forefathers usurped the power, the anointing, the blessings, everything that go with the children of Africa. Everything. We know Tata Nzambe gave us. They claim that we usurped it from them and they're going to take it by force, okay? This is not a mere story of kings selling their children. You guys are now awakened and seeing for yourself who we are and how everything begins to make sense, okay? So we're learning, we're doing better, we're understanding the why of many things. So we should assert ourselves. Don't let anybody come and push you out of your inheritance. Remember, the battle is spiritual first. When you assert yourself as a son or daughter of Yakuba, and everything, all the promises that Nzambe said shall be ours. All the blessings, when you assert, I'm the rightful heir, I'm the rightful heiress of the blessings of my forefathers. Once you do that, that's it. They may come, they may try to make you feel less than it won't work. Okay, my people, until next time. Peace, love, and unity. Mwah.